everybody, welcome back to Fangame Marathon. With me I have Viridity and all this big host of commentators. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Viridity. I am running this white hole. This is a cool map. I've spent a lot of time on it, just doing a lot of miscellaneous things. Also,
Hi, I'm
yeah,
Burgerhex. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, commentators can introduce.
Yeah, totally. Hi, I'm Burgerhex. I play Celeste sometimes.
IamTNT. I also play Celeste sometimes, but I do hard stuff.
I am NCG. I also play Celeste sometimes, mainly hard stuff, and I also happen to love the hell out of Theo Crystal, and I'm here to provide more explanations for things.
Okay, I think we are ready to start then. So, we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Luck. NCG, you wanna start us off with a quick explanation on Theo Crystals?
Yeah, maybe I should start with them. So this map is a 100 trap style map, which means it's going to be 100 rooms, each having like a different mechanic. Exploring like a different mechanic. And this one is themed around Theo Crystal, which is this holdable, pick-upable thing from the vanilla Celeste games from Chapter 5 in the original game. You can grab it, you can hold it, you can throw it, and there's a lot of cool cursed stuff you can do with it. And that's basically what this
Very
is
cursed.
Very cursed, yep. No, it's not gonna be that cursed for a bit.
Yeah, it starts off tame with stuff that you could also see in the vanilla game, or like slightly easy modded stuff, but it gets weird and hard later on.
Yeah, so you might hear us use terms like hyper, super, ultra, wave dash, stuff like that. Basically, anytime you hear a term like that, it's some sort of base game technique that Celeste players use to go fast. And then when we combine those things with Theo, we can do a lot of even faster stuff or cooler stuff. So here we see. Oh, go ahead.
Weird one. Okay, so that's the first weird mechanic that you would not expect with the crystal, that you can dash through dream blocks. That's what those are called. Because usually when you try it, you would just, well, you can't dash with Theo in your hands. So if you usually just try to dash and grab Theo, you can't really enter dream blocks except when you're really close to them. Because there's a timer whenever you dash that says this long is how long your dash should be active, and it doesn't reset when you grab Theo. So if you're close enough, the timer doesn't run out while you grab him, and you still can enter the dream block.
It's also a way to grab while holding Theo, which is not normally not something you can normally do. And if you're doing stuff like that, like grabbing, swimming, or being in a feather is actually one we just saw with Theo. The game isn't really expecting you to do that, so you can do a lot of interesting stuff like dashing while holding Theo, climbing. Yeah.
Or water, for example, also lets you hold Theo and dash at the same time.
So these green entities that you see here on the right are called Theo barriers. They basically prevent Theo from touching them at all. So whenever you are holding Theo and you touch those things, you get a big boost in the opposite direction. So it's one way to sort of prevent Theo from moving around the map. In the room right after that, we also saw Viridity pull off what's called a Theovator or a Theo elevator, which is using one dash to send Madeline and Theo straight up.
You can see that the Theo hitbox is active even when you're holding him, which for one lets him activate switches inside of walls and ceilings. But also you could see it with the moving block. It kind of janks out when there's moving entities. and that leads to silly.
You might have seen a yellow barrier in the previous room. Those are barriers that you can hold Theo through, but if you drop him, he will get stuck in the wall. And for now, that just means we're killing him, but later we're gonna do some interesting stuff with that.
And just like that, that's the first checkpoint done.
Oh, this is an infamous technique from speedrunning, from Celeste speedrunning, the demo dash. You can dash and at the same time have a crouched hitbox, which is smaller than normal, and that lets you get through gaps in spinners like that. It looks rather silly.
There we saw another usage of water being used to hold Theo while climbing on a wall.
And here we're using that even more with moving entities to keep climbing so we can dash with Theo into that cabin there.
Speed.
First introduction of instant regrabs. These will appear in many different variations later. One of my least favorite rooms.
These are Theo neutrals, but specifically with downwind they get harder because you have to be more precise with them because you don't gain as much height. And neutral is when you don't hold any direction when jumping, then you can get closer to the wall without using any stamina or having to grab the wall, and you gain some height.
So here we see our first usage of grounded ultras. As I said before, ultras are a way to get a lot of speed. Grounded ultras, to put it briefly, you can gain even more speed using Theo.
Yeah, normally grounded ultras don't give you a lot of speed if you just do them. I mean, they do, but it doesn't stay. But using a thing you can hold like Theo, you can keep that speed, and that's how that is possible.
Here the Theo barriers come back. Oh, sorry, go ahead, TNT.
No, in this room you can see you can jump off of Theo barriers, which looks cursed and is also kind of precise.
Y'all can start explaining remote refills now. It's probably a good time.
We will get to that, I think. Is that the next room?
It's a couple rooms. I think
more, yeah.
you can
Okay.
start explaining it now.
So in a few rooms there is a tech that I myself have found. So in Celeste there is some collectibles, these crystal hearts. These are some modded ones that don't really collect when you get them, instead just break and give you a dash. Turns out they give you a dash whenever you break them, no matter how. And another entity that can break them apart from Madeline herself is Theo. So you can break a heart with Theo, use a dash, and then when Theo breaks it, you get it back. It's not very... you will not see it in a lot of places at all. I've discovered it by playing through a regular map that does not have Theo usually with Theo, which is a fun challenge we do sometimes.
We have a whole Discord for that actually, called the Theo Enthusiasts.
We are
Double
big
jumps.
fans of this.
In well, actually not. Just
Okay.
come up again.
In this room we actually have 3 dashes, which lets us do some cool maneuvers with re-grabbing Theo in midair.
Should be more triple dash Theo maps, honestly. Pretty fun.
Or purple dash maps in general, there isn't many.
Good point.
Yeah, that's true.
So far, it's with Theo. Here we're using Theo, throwing Theo to cancel a lot of the momentum we get from the spring, so we don't, well, so we ideally don't die.
Way to throw shade.
There we go.
Some more weird interaction with these barriers.
Someone in that chat said that Celeste looks fun but too precise with the dashes, and yeah, Celeste, especially modded, can get really hard and precise. But there's also easier stuff. The base game, if you just go for a story, it is very manageable, honestly. And there is very easy mods that are very beginner friendly. So if you think it looks fun to you, don't be afraid of trying it out at least.
Alright, we are entering CP3. This is where it starts to get quite interesting.
What starts getting weird?
This wall bounce sucks, so I skip it.
Nice.
Okay, this room is very weird.
Cassette blocks, kinda. These are called cassette blocks. Normally in the base game, they're used in the endings of a few maps and one section in Farewell, but whatever, not important. They move up slightly whenever they activate, and in this case, that's enough to cause jank with Theo, so you can collect those switches.
That tech that we just saw, where we climb with Theo, we're going to be seeing that a lot.
Also gonna be
This
seeing
tech we
this a
will also
lot.
see a lot.
Those are freeze frame ungrabs. If you release the grab button while you're in the freeze frames, so the frames where the game is paused when hitting those bumpers, this game does that a lot. The game essentially forgets that you're holding Theo, kinda. TNT, I think you can explain this better than me.
Yeah, though the game forces you into the launch state, and usually when you hold Theo and you turn into the launch state, it lets you throw Theo, but because in the freeze frames where actions don't happen yet, you let go of Theo, the game thinks you aren't holding him anymore. So it just doesn't let go of him. And you still hold Theo, but you aren't in the holding state. Instead you are in the launch state until you lose the launch state, and then the game realizes, wait a minute, I'm still holding Theo, so when you don't do anything afterwards, it just lets you throw it again.
It's basically the same principle as what we did with the water a bit ago, but just a different way of getting into that type of state.
I like this room. This is a cool room.
That's
Jank.
funny.
This
You know
room
that-
can be
that-
summarized as jank.
That Kevin moves 1 pixel to the right every time you hit it, and I don't know why.
Really? I did not know
What?
that.
Yeah, I did not know that either. That's
More freeze frame ungrabs here.
Which is fine.
yeah. The cycle
Vanilla
can screw
game,
you
there's
over.
3 entities that put you in the launch state. It's the bumpers that we saw earlier, the fish that we see now, and seeker explosions. Seekers are those monster things that appeared in a room earlier. If you bonk them on the head, they explode afterwards, and that also launches you.
Actually, one of the few entities Theo is meant to interact with, because it's in chapter 5.
In this room, we're making use of what we call slow fall, which is when you're moving with a slow amount of vertical speed, you can actually hold the jump button, and that'll reduce your gravity by half, which lets Madeline fall slower.
And also when you grab Theo while you're moving downwards, your downwards momentum gets cancelled.
Right,
So
yeah.
if you're falling and you grab Theo, your speed resets to 0. At least the vertical one.
We're seeing something called the pickup state being abused. So those platforms that Madeline can jump through are aptly called jump throughs. They kind of push you up in the vanilla game if you're trying to jump through them for like leniency reasons. And while you're picking up Theo, that moving still applies. So if you pick up Theo while in one of those, you just get moved up a bit. It's really cool.
Wants to explain this one.
In essence, the springs that you see here give you a certain amount of time of forced movement, and you can sort of interrupt that by picking up Theo. but the timer that you get from the force movement still ticks down. So after the Theo pickup animation finishes, there's still time left over from the force movement, and you get a little weird boost in the direction that the spring shot you in.
It's just some really precise climbing.
I do
Every
an
time that you
overclock
climb
at the
on
start.
one of those conveyor belts, you get a boost upwards, and because they move you up while you hold them, you have a shorter time to grab Theo than it was just a static wall. So that's a pretty hard room.
That's the intended for that room. I didn't know that.
So that was more freeze frame on grabs.
More precise diagonal free grab. Aha.
Theo Dream
Theo Dream
Hypers.
Hypers.
NCG explained this. You know very well how to explain it, I think.
Do I? Well, it's grabbing you. Well, how do I start this? Going through a dream block gives you. Actually, I'm.
Coyote frames.
Yeah,
So-
coyote frame.
Whenever you enter a dream block and then on the frame you exit, it kind of thing like acts as if you touch the ground, so it gives you coyote frames. And you can abuse that to do a hyper out of it. And that doesn't reset if you grab the dream block. So because when you grab the dream block with Theo, you can dash out of it, you can also hyper out of it.
This room is really fast and uses something called fast bubbling, which is basically exactly what it sounds like. We press the dash button after entering the bubble to immediately make it go. And there's some very precise and quick movement you have to do with Theo here.
If you know enough about me in this map, you know this is my least favorite in the entire map.
So there is an option in when you make a modded map that you can hold Theo and other holdables inside of bubbles.
Nice.
This map does not have it, so you have to do that.
I love this screen.
Oh, the
It's-
screen's silly.
I can explain this one. This is what's called an instant P-hop, or I think another name for it was a pickup P-hop. So what you do here is you do a hyper, you grab Theo while you're still on the floor, and then the cloud moves up into you, so you gain coyote frames. So you can kind of get a second jump in midair. If you look really closely at what Viridity is doing here, he actually gets 2 jumps on the cloud. So that's how all of that height and distance is possible.
The
Yeah, look out for
distance,
the particles.
yeah,
There
the
you go,
distance
nice.
comes from the hyper, and the jump, like the height, comes from the normal jump afterwards. Because hypers give less height. Anyway, what we just saw was a fuse boost. We will see another one now.
Alright, let's go gambling, I guess. I've missed the setup.
Unlucky.
This one is really interesting. The
Aw,
reason
man.
that this only works half of the time is because Theo kind of sticks to moving platforms. It's the reason why in the base game, if you throw Theo on a moving swap block, he will just stick to that platform, which is really good for leniency, but also means that if you make a platform do like a 180 instantly, Theo will not fly off. So what you're doing here is you're bopping the fuse box up, and it has to stay up where it is for, I think it's 3 frames. And if the animation of the fuse box happens to interrupt that, it won't work.
Is this supposed to happen, guys?
Oh, in classic ZKB fashion,
No.
the map turns
Red.
red.
No, this is kind of a meme in the community. The mapper of this map, who is the #1 Theo fan, he has made 2 maps. Both of them have a last checkpoint that are red. So yeah, maybe a mild obsession with that.
All rise for the Theo national anthem.
So yeah, shout out to the music. This is such good
Oh yeah,
music
here
in
by
this
the
map.
way, we didn't explain Theo wall bounces. They work for the same reason as Dream Smuggles. The dash timer doesn't end when you pick up Theo, so you can still get a wall bounce because it only cares about that.
Add a Theo up your sleeve there. So in this room, neutrals are actually disabled, so you can't do what we did before with Theo neutrals. But using Theo, dropping him right before hitting the wall, and then re-picking him up right after leaving the wall, you can essentially get what we call no neutral Theo neutrals, or something like that. And it lets you climb up the wall.
This room uses a tech that the creator of this map called after themselves, ZK Boost. It's for a similar reason as with the spring thingy, where you still conserve the momentum of the spring, except it's with your jump. Because whenever you jump, it also has a timer.
Here we see this
Nice.
grab we mentioned.
And this is similar to the no neutral Theo neutrals. If Theo touches the barrier here, or if Madeline runs into the barrier with Theo, we get flinged backwards into the electricity. So we have to drop Theo before hitting the wall, jump off the wall, and then grab Theo again.
That is a frame perfect input, so...
I don't think it's supposed to be frame perfect.
Well,
Nice.
it sure is.
Right?
Oh, C-Pops, who wants to explain this?
I can do that.
Yeah.
For it.
Okay,
So
go on.
C-Pop,
Nice.
if you move,
First try.
nice. Yeah, that was really good. If you move off of a wall, the game has one extra frame of leniency where you can still do anything that you could be able to do on a wall. And if you are in a certain
Nice.
sub-pixel
Nice.
position, which is basically how the game stores your position internally, it visually shows up on a pixel, but there's a little variance in that. And you can make it so that if you press down and whatever direction you want to go in on a wall, the next frame you end up under the wall. And because of an extra frame of leniency, you can still jump there. And so that's what's called a C-pop. They're frame perfect, they're sub-pixel, precise, generally not very used in the setup with freeze frames, but really cool.
Yeah, a little break
Well, this
time
room
here.
we can be patient in. We will slowly work our way towards the switch up there.
You can still die, though.
I wonder if this is a vanilla fish thing or if this is only possible with modded fish, because we know this fish is a modded one.
I think it's vanilla because I think that also happens with Seeker explosions.
And last one.
Yeah, I didn't screw it up, we're good.
This is the use of the demo dash again, which we haven't seen in quite a while.
We also use the fact that when Theo has nowhere to go, he'll sort of teleport downward.
This is referred to as the one-tile teleport.
I love
Because the
this
thing
screen.
is, you aren't supposed to be crouched while having Theo. The game does not
This room
like
is
that.
like the weirdest room.
I hate the screen.
Oh, this one is kind of inconsistent. Again, jump timer shenanigans.
Yep, jump timer and pickup state shenanigans, so double jump.
I will spoil. This is not the last few rooms. There's a few extra that Viridity is gonna play through.
We'll get to those
With-
later.
You won't see them in the normal playthrough because we will explain when we get there.
What number is this room again?
92.
It's 90. Yep.
Gotcha.
Being bullied.
Yeah, at this point in the final checkpoint, this is when the techs start getting both jank and hard to execute.
Speaking of
Holy.
difficulty, this map is actually on the list of the hardest mods for the game. Because of this last checkpoint mostly. The earlier screens were between very easy and kinda hard, but still not the hardest in the game.
It's like
But here it starts to get tough.
It's like not die to this, please. Okay, cool. Oh, okay.
Nice.
Woo!
That one's really hard. So in this screen, something you can't see while playing Celeste, you can see which pixel Madeline's on, but there's actually sub-pixels that the game keeps track of. So on that screen, Viridity had to manipulate his sub-pixels by dashing up 11 times, and then right once. And that lets us execute an instant B-hop like we saw with that cloud before, but without the cloud this time.
Alright, this is another instance of a C-pop, except optimized. You'll see, it's more sub-pixel dependent than a normal C-pop.
And also you need to grab Theo like late, which is why you need to drop him pretty high up. Because if you grab him early, then you will not go as far horizontally, because while you hold Theo, you do go a bit slower in the air and on the ground.
The ZK boost. We are back. This is a lot more precise than the one previously.
Generally, this one is referred to as
Oh no.
nice one. Needed to carry Theo through there, but we'll have to. This one is generally referred to as the ZK boost, while the other, less precise variant is more known as the Ultra Dash bonus.
I think for this one you have to dash the frame after you hyper. So it's diagonally dash into the ground, and after a bit, not too early because you first want to regain your dash on the ground and also you want the dash cooldown to end. Then you want to jump and the next frame dash again into the ground, which gets you the Goltra, and also because of the jump timer you gain height afterwards, which is how Viridity gets through the spinner gaps there.
Silly tech.
Oh, this room is very silly. Probably my favorite.
We had 2 Theos, guess what? Now we have 3. No way! Oh my god.
Oh, it was first
Again.
try as well.
Okay.
Again.
So
There
here
we
we're
go.
actually duplicating Theo
We have
by
3.
using weird stuff.
I don't think this is actually possible with the vanilla Theo. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that indefinitely. You can make as many Theos as you want. Okay, here's juggling.
It should be possible with the vanilla Theo, and in fact, there's a way to crash the game in vanilla with that tech. It's by doing it with a jelly in Farewell Final. If you die with a jelly in that state, the game crashes and doesn't know what to do.
It didn't
So this
actually
is-
mean the freeze. With vanilla Theo, I mean the duping. Like
Right.
that specifically. It might be a modded crystal feature.
Yeah, so what you just saw there was Theo down laddering. We're grabbing between 2 different Theos, which each have their own pickup animation.
Oh,
And
this screen
hell yeah.
is kind of a meme.
Let's go.
This screen was kind of a meme for a long time, the double Theo climb. And then this map released and it was an actual thing. It's very funny.
I'm glad you didn't do
Anyway,
the cheese. That was awesome.
Yeah,
This is the hardest room in the screen. It is much harder than it looks because the timing for the juggle, you have to keep it up all the way and not be too slow or too fast, because if you go too fast you won't pick up, you won't let go of a crystal because there is a certain amount of frames that you can't let go, and if you do it too slow you lose height. So yeah. Also the block slows down, so you have to actually get slower midway through.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but something you can't see in this room is there's actually a tiny bit of upwind to help with the
Right.
upward momentum. It's otherwise not possible.
So when you have wind and Theo or any other holdable, whenever you grab it in the air, you do still get pushed by wind during the pickup frames. Usually you wouldn't move, you would just be frozen in place, but it's not true freeze frames, only you are frozen. So exterior things that would move you still apply, like wind or moving blocks.
Or those jump through moving things.
It is not mashing. It is not mashing. This is actually a strict timing.
Okay.
For each grab, I think you have like
Taking a
3
detour,
frames or something.
because we agreed to showcase the golden rooms of this map. So we're just gonna do a quick debug. If you don't know what golden rooms are, to explain what a golden is an optional collectible in the game where you have to do the map deathless. And in some modded maps, they decide to give special room or rooms, in this case, that if you get there with the golden, you gotta do these. And we agreed to showcase them, because they're really cool.
A lot of people who play this map just do them on their own because, you know, the golden is really hard. It's really hard.
Check this out.
Okay,
Oh.
check that. I missed. I don't
Okay.
know why.
Alright, I
Yeah.
jinxed it.
Check this out.
Nice.
Theo's flying. How is he doing that?
Hey, this next room I'm on a timer.
Luck.
Yeah, this is among the hardest maps, but there is... Like, the list of hardest maps has 3 tiers of difficulty. And this one is on the first.
Alright.
The last tier is insane. Like, you will spend a lot of time on the maps there.
Who's ready to achieve
Nice.
light speed? Time is
Alright.
coming up soon.
Don't blink.
Hyper Speedo.
This is what's known as Super Dash Infinite.
Whee!
Alright,
And
and
GG.
and
You
time.
should do the
Time.
down smuggle. You should do the down smuggle.
Oh, I should have done that. It's too late now.
GG, what an awesome run. Nice.
GG. Almost a sub 30.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was really close.
Fun fact, that was a PB
Huge, nice.
by like 10 seconds, but
You locked in at like room 15. Or like 10 even, like,
111.
nice. Well done.
No, that was pretty awesome. A lot of really cool tricks in there. Anything else you want to show off? Because you do have a bit of extra time now.
trying to think. There's not
Do you
that
have
much
the
extra.
Moonberry?
I can't beat the Moonberry. That's way
Not-
too hard.
Maybe not beat it, but at least show it.
Sure.
Do a few.
Yeah, I can. I haven't done it in a while, but I guess. So if you get, there's multiple endings in this map, and because that's how it was designed. There's a secret ending for this. Oh. Where am I? I don't know where this is. Oh wait, I know.
It's the it's actually hidden on debug map,
Yeah.
but the story behind what we're about to see is
Here we go.
actually really funny. Here we are. So might recognize that name up there as being
Hey, who made this room?
me. Yeah. So I was actually the second person that beat this map, and me and the map creator, like, we shared a lot of like Theo enthusiasm. We have known each other online for like a bit. And about at the time that this map was being created, this tech was first looked at in a task. And he couldn't really do it. And then I tried practicing it, and I could do it a bit. So when I beat this map, I made this room and just sent it to him privately, just as like a kind of revenge thing.
That was the greatest thing ever.
Yep, and he liked it so much that he put it in as a secret in the map.
Anyway, to give a small explanation, this is similar to double Theo juggling, except it's much more precise. I think every grab is either a 1 frame or a 2 frame window.
Yeah, I have no plans of actually clearing this screen, but it's like really funny.
To my knowledge, this room hasn't been done. There's been one screenshot of somebody at the end, but there's no video of it yet. So Yeah.
Yeah, there's that. I don't know if there's anything else I can show off in this map,
The
really.
down smuggle? Could go
Yeah.
there.
Okay, well, hold on.
So in the golden heart room, there is a little extra thingy you can do.
Oh yeah, so this is a really long room you see here. We went across it in about 1 second.
I don't have Theo. Hold on, let me just...
Whoops.
Let's...
Let's just cross the universe really quick.
or something like that.
Oh, dang it.
Let's do it again. I don't have a dash. Help.
Super dash trigger.
Okay, we're good.
There we go.
There we go.
What?
Well, that's unfortunate.
Okay, you know what? Let's...
How
We
are we
broke
in
the
core
map.
mode?
Ooh.
Oh god. Yeah, we're just gonna like
Uh-oh.
do this. Where is it? I don't know where it is.
That might not
It's
work.
in game
because
In
elements.
regular
Theo
variants.
Theo is in the very start of this room,
There you
so
go.
this might not give you a Theo.
No, it always spawns
Yeah,
it
there
where
we
you
go.
spawn.
Nice.
We got a Theo.
Okay, so this, I can explain it pretty.
Where's my...
Well, you're cheesing it. Don't cheese it.
Where's
Well,
my
you can't
deck?
because it
No,
doesn't even
what?
have a dash.
Yeah, oh my god, this is... I'm being... Okay.
There we go.
So the intended way to do this is a downward smuggle, which, if you try it yourself, you will see it's kind of not possible.
That's not supposed to happen.
except it's possible by not directly dashing downwards into it, but instead like from the side. It is very goofy and also very precise.
But yeah, you go down there and you get to this room. This is like, I guess, a little teaser of what has been released as the hardest map in the game. This is the release day for it, so I guess a bit of an early teaser.
Yeah.
It was released last year on Strawberry Jam, which is basically the biggest Celeste mod's anniversary. And yeah, has a fusion of 2 maps in that. So that's what that's about.
If we want, we can go back through some rooms that we didn't have time to explain.
Sure.
49 was one of those, if we want to look at that.
Yeah.
Just gotta...
Comically large Celeste screen.
Most normal Celeste map out
Is it
layout.
this one? Yeah.
You know you can drag debug map with right click, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to mention when with the remote refill, so the room with the hearts. It wasn't originally in the map because when ZKB was making this map, we didn't know about that tech yet. I found out about it later. I found it later, and he had to put it in. So he removed a room that was not very fear related. It was a room where you learn that you can wall jump off of lava, which is very silly.
And the weird thing about that room is that all of the other rooms that were changed in updates are still there in debug. Like, you can still go to the map, and next to where the original room was, the other one is there. But for the lava room is just gone. It just was deleted. There's no trace of that room existing anymore, except in videos.
It doesn't deserve existing anymore.
Yeah, here's this. I forgot to cover it.
Later.
So
Yeah,
basically...
so... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sure. So, Theo moves, if he's on a spinner, which are those little spike thingies, he moves to the direction relative to the center of the spinner. And that actually depends on Theo's subpixels. So in addition to Madeline having subpixels, Theo also has subpixels, which is basically the way that the position of things are stored in-game. Like, obviously you can see that they are at certain pixels in this resolution, but internally it's stored as subpixels. And so there's a setup for making it so it always works here, but in reality these are often super duper random.
Do you want to fail it one time to show what it's
Alright,
like?
let's go right here. Oh, yeah,
Let's
there
go
you
gambling.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
Let's go over here. Oh, there it goes.
Oh man, and often it gets into an endless loop like that.
Sometimes, see if I can replicate this. Oh, it'll go there. Sometimes it'll
Yeah.
reach past the electricity, but it won't hit the coin. That can happen.
And it would bounce left anyway if you could reach there.
Yeah, so with a precise setup that works the same every time, you can make sure that Theo goes in the right position so that the spinners push him into the coin.
You put more pixels in your pixels. It's not quite like that. It's not like a smaller
basically
grid of
like that.
pixels, but it's just floating point values. So if you know coding and stuff, it's just decimal numbers.
If you can bring up the task HUD, you could actually see them.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they are. Oh, they are right here.
Yeah, so those numbers you see are where Madeline is inside that pixel.
And those are used for movement, for collisions. Well, yeah, also for collisions, kinda.
And more relevant to gameplay, mainly they're used for Chang.
Floating point values. Does not have to do with this map, but if you make a map that has coordinates that are just really big, because of floating point precision, you can get really cursed visuals and physics, because your physics just don't they don't calculate as accurate anymore.
If you go to, I think it's 2 to the 24th, the coordinates, the game just doesn't allow you to move anymore. Like, there's what looks like an invisible wall all the way out there. It acts like a screen edge. You can do very funny things with it. But yeah, a bit out of the scope of this. Maybe you could show off the subpixels for the instant B-hop. Updash.
Oh yes. Subpixels on these are quite funny.
Also, another thing,
Oh,
this map shows a lot of tech, but it's not even close to everything.
Oh, yeah.
NCG and I, for example, we sometimes just brainstorm together some random shit and we figure out the really cursed tech. Like, it gets really bad.
So as you can see, subpixels are down right at the bottom. This is where they're supposed to be.
That's how you hit the floor twice in this room, which gives you POD frames, which gives you the extra jump for the instant B-hop.
If we still have time, I'm not sure how we're doing, but we could go over the buffered button jumps. Not that they're too complicated, but we didn't have a chance to go over them in 39.
You got like 1 minute or two.
Yeah,
we
okay,
can do
that's
that.
fast.
Here we go.
These buttons activate when you stomp on them with Theo, which usually, when there's spikes underneath, you just die. But when you buffer a jump, you don't die. Because the game just doesn't have time to put you where the button goes down.
But yeah, I think that's...
Any shoutouts you wanted to give, Viridity?
Mainly to everyone who worked on this map. Y'all did a great job. Thanks to everyone who organized this event as well, giving the opportunity. This has been great. Not too much else.
Well, thank you for coming on. That was a really great run. A lot of cool text to showcase.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, that's all I got. Alright, up next we have Shinsa doing a run of Amapani, which looking pretty awesome, so make sure to stay tuned.